The crystalline spires of Research Station Helios cast long shadows across Titan's methane ice as Rhiannon Vale adjusted her environment suit sensors. Something was wrong with the readings. The atmospheric composition showed trace elements that shouldn't exist in this sector of Saturn's largest moon, elements that hinted at artificial manipulation. "Control, are you seeing these numbers?" Rhiannon's voice crackled through the comm link. Static answered her. She checked her suit's connection indicator, dead. Perfect. The one time she actually needed Earth's micromanaging oversight, the systems decided to fail. The anomalous readings led her toward a ravine that shouldn't exist according to their orbital surveys. Its walls gleamed with an iridescent sheen that defied the natural formations of Titan's surface. Rhiannon's heart raced as she approached. After 15 years of searching for proof of extraterrestrial intelligence, could this finally be it? A flash of movement caught her eye, something sleek and silver darting between the crystalline formations. Rhiannon froze, her breath fogging the inside of her helmet. The movement came again, more deliberate this time. Whatever it was watching her. "Hello?" she called out, knowing her voice wouldn't carry through Titan's thick atmosphere. She switched on her suit's external speakers. "My name is Dr. Rhiannon Vale. I represent the Earth Science Coalition. We come in peace." The laughter that answered her made her blood run cold. It seemed to come from everywhere at once, echoing off the ravine walls with an otherworldly resonance. A figure emerged from behind one of the crystals, tall and elegant, with skin like polished mercury and eyes that glowed with an inner light. "Peace." The alien's voice bypassed her suit's audio systems, appearing directly in her mind. "Your kind always says that, right before you tear worlds apart searching for resources." Rhiannon struggled to maintain her composure as the alien circled her with fluid, predatory grace. "I'm a scientist, not a miner. I study molecular biology. I'm here to understand, not exploit." "A scientist?" The alien stopped directly in front of her, head tilted in a eerily bird-like manner. "Then you must be simply fascinated by this." With impossible speed, a silver hand shot out and punctured Rhiannon's suit at the forearm. Warning alarms blared as Rhiannon stumbled backward, but before Titan's atmosphere could rush in, the puncture sealed itself with a strange, metallic film. The alien held up a small vial of Rhiannon's blood, studying it with those luminous eyes. "I am Vexera," the alien said, still examining the blood with intense curiosity. "And you, Rhiannon Vale, are impossible." "What do you mean, impossible?" Rhiannon demanded, heart pounding. "What are you doing with my blood?" Vexera's expression shifted from curiosity to something closer to fear. "Your genetic structure, it contains markers that were erased from this galaxy millennia ago. Markers that could destroy everything my people have built." "I don't understand," Rhiannon said, taking a step closer despite her better judgment. "What markers? Built what?" "The Celestial Council will want you eliminated immediately," Vexera muttered, almost to herself. Then her gaze snapped back to Rhiannon. "But I need to understand how you exist. Come with me." "Come with you?" "I can't just." Rhiannon's protest was cut short by a series of explosions that lit up the horizon. Through the ravine's opening, she could see Research Station Helios erupting in flames. "The Council's hunters," Vexera hissed. "They're already here. Choose quickly, Rhiannon Vale. Stay and die, or come with me and learn why your very existence terrifies the most powerful beings in the galaxy." Another explosion rocked the ground beneath them. Through the chaos, Rhiannon could hear emergency signals from the station, calls for help that would come too late. Her logical mind screamed that this was insane, that she couldn't trust this alien creature. But 15 years of searching for answers pushed her forward. "How do I know I can trust you?" she asked, even as she stepped closer to Vexera. The alien's liquid metal lips curved into something between a smile and a grimace. "You don't. But I'm not the one who just destroyed your research station. As if to emphasize the point, a beam of intense energy carved through the ice where Rhiannon had been standing moments before. Without another word, Vexera grabbed her arm. The world around them began to shimmer and dissolve. The last thing Rhiannon saw before reality shifted was a group of figures in black armor cresting the ravine's edge, their weapons trained on the spot where she and Vexera were vanishing. Then everything went silver, and Titan disappeared. They materialized in what appeared to be a ship's bridge, all sweeping curves and pulsing lights. Rhiannon doubled over, her stomach revolting against the transportation method. When she straightened, she found Vexera already at the controls, her silver fingers dancing across surfaces that rippled like mercury. "Your blood contains a key," Vexera said without turning around. "A key that could unlock abilities my people have spent thousands of years suppressing. If the Council discovers what you are, they will not stop until every human is dead, just to be sure the genetic line is erased." "Why?" Rhiannon asked, struggling to process everything happening around her. "What's so special about my genes?" Vexera turned to face her, those luminous eyes now filled with a mixture of fear and fascination. "Because, Rhiannon Vale, your blood carries the power to wake the gods we imprisoned. And some of us remember why we imprisoned them in the first place." The ship hummed to life around them, and through the view screen, Rhiannon watched Titan shrink away. She thought of her colleagues at the station, of her life's work, of everything she was leaving behind. But as Vexera's ship accelerated into the darkness of space, she realized she was finally doing what she had always dreamed of, discovering the truth about humanity's place in the universe. She just hadn't expected that truth to be so dangerous. The ship's medical bay hummed with unfamiliar energy as Vexera drew another sample of Rhiannon's blood. The liquid seemed to shimmer as it filled the translucent vial, catching the light in ways that human blood shouldn't. "That's the third sample," Rhiannon said, rubbing her arm. "Find anything interesting yet, or do you just enjoy playing vampire?" Vexera's mercury skin rippled in what Rhiannon was beginning to recognize as amusement. "Your species' habit of using humor to mask fear is fascinating." She placed the vial into a device that looked like liquid metal frozen in mid-splash. "But yes, I'm finding many interesting things. Terrifying things. Care to share with the class?" Rhiannon moved closer to observe the analysis, trying to decipher the shifting symbols that danced across the device's surface. "Since it's my potentially world-ending blood we're talking about." Vexera's luminous eyes narrowed as she studied the readings. "Your genetic structure contains markers we call the God Seeds. They were supposed to have been purged from all sentient species during the Great Cleansing, over 50,000 years ago." "God Seeds?" Rhiannon leaned closer, her scientific curiosity overwhelming her apprehension. "What do they do?" "They allow for genetic manipulation at will. Self-directed evolution. The ability to rewrite one's own biological coding." Vexera's voice grew distant, as if reciting from memory. "The species that possessed them could adapt to any environment instantly, heal from any injury, even transfer consciousness between bodies." "That's impossible," Rhiannon protested. "The energy requirements alone would. The God Seeds tap into something your science hasn't discovered yet. A fundamental force that makes your physics look like a child's drawing." Vexera turned to face her, silver fingers grazing Rhiannon's cheek. "The real question is how your species managed to hide them for so long." The touch sent an electric tingle through Rhiannon's skin. She stepped back, trying to maintain her professional composure. "Maybe we didn't hide them. Maybe we just didn't know they were there. We're not exactly an advanced species by your standards. Or maybe," Vexera's voice dropped to a whisper, "someone wanted your species to develop them naturally. To evolve without interference." Her expression darkened. "Which means I'm not the only one keeping secrets from the Council." A sudden lurch of the ship sent them both stumbling. Alarm signals pulsed through the walls in waves of crimson light. "They found us," Vexera hissed, rushing to a control panel. "The Council's hunters are faster than I expected." What do we do? Rhiannon asked, heart racing as she watched 3 sleek black ships materialize on the viewing screen. We run. Vexera's hands danced across the controls. And while we run, you need to understand what you are. What your whole species might become. She pulled up a series of genetic maps, highlighting sequences that pulsed with an inner light. These markers aren't dormant in you, Rhiannon. They're awakening. The ship shuddered as energy weapons fire grazed their shields. Rhiannon grabbed a nearby rail to steady herself. What do you mean, awakening? Your work on Titan, the molecular biology research, you were studying rapid adaptation in extremophile bacteria, yes? Vexera didn't wait for confirmation. You were unconsciously accessing the god seeds, directing your own evolution to enhance your understanding. That's why your breakthroughs came so quickly. Rhiannon's mind reeled as memories flooded back, the intuitive leap she'd made, the solutions that seemed to come from nowhere, the way she sometimes felt physically different after long research sessions. That's not possible. I'm just good at my job. You're more than that. Vexera's voice held a mix of awe and fear. You're what the Council has nightmares about. A human who can unconsciously access abilities that took our ancestors millennia to develop. Another blast rocked the ship. Through the viewport, Rhiannon watched one of the pursuing vessels moving to cut off their escape route. Can this ship outrun them? She asked, already knowing the answer from Vexera's expression. No, the alien admitted. But perhaps we don't have to. She turned to Rhiannon, her mercury skin rippling with intensity. The god seeds respond to necessity, to survival instinct. If I could teach you to access them consciously. You want me to what? Evolve on command? Rhiannon laughed despite the situation. I don't even know what these things are, let alone how to use them. Your blood knows. Vexera moved closer, her alien grace making the motion appear almost predatory. And I know how to awaken that knowledge. But you'll have to trust me completely. The process is intimate. The word sent a shiver down Rhiannon's spine that wasn't entirely fear. What does that mean, exactly? It means, Vexera said, reaching out to trace a line down Rhiannon's arm, that I'll have to link our consciousness. Share my understanding of the god seeds with your awakening abilities. The sensation can be overwhelming for species and used to mental contact. Another blast shook the ship. Warning lights indicated shield failure on multiple sections. Looks like necessity just caught up with us, Rhiannon said, squaring her shoulders. Do it. Vexera's liquid metal fingers intertwined with hers. Remember, whatever you feel, whatever you see, don't pull away. The connection must remain intact for the knowledge to transfer. As Vexera leaned in, her luminous eyes filling Rhiannon's vision, the human scientist had a moment to wonder if she was making a terrible mistake. Then Vexera's forehead touched hers, and the world exploded into silver fire. Rhiannon felt her consciousness expanding, merging with something vast and alien and beautiful. She saw the universe through Vexera's eyes, the intricate dance of quantum particles, the songs of solar winds, the liquid nature of reality itself. And beneath it all, she felt the god seed stirring in her blood, responding to this new awareness with ancient power. Through their linked minds, Vexera's voice echoed, now, Rhiannon Vale, show me what humanity can really do. The pursuing ships fired again, but this time, Rhiannon knew exactly how to respond. Raw power surged through Rhiannon's veins as the god seeds awakened, responding to her desperate need for survival. Her consciousness, still linked with Vexera's, expanded beyond the confines of her human form. She could feel every molecule of her body humming with potential, ready to be reshaped by thought alone. The pursuing ships fired another volley, but this time Rhiannon saw more than just energy beams, she saw the quantum structure of the weapon's signatures, the precise frequencies they operated on. Through her merged awareness with Vexera, she understood exactly how to counter them. Your ship's hull, Rhiannon gasped, the words feeling strange as her body began to change. I can see how to modify it at the molecular level. If I adjust the crystalline structure. Do it, Vexera commanded, her silver hands still clasped with Rhiannon's rapidly transforming ones. Let the knowledge flow naturally. Rhiannon reached out with her newfound senses, feeling the ship's material composition as if it were an extension of her own body. The god seeds responded, transmitting her will through Vexera's technology. The hull began to shift, its molecular arrangement changing to create a perfect energy-dispersing lattice. The next blast from the Council's hunters scattered harmlessly across the modified surface. Rhiannon felt a surge of triumph, quickly followed by exhaustion. She slumped forward, but Vexera caught her with liquid grace. Remarkable, the alien Enchantress breathed, her luminous eyes wide with wonder. You adapted the entire hull structure in seconds. It took my ancestors generations to develop such abilities. That's good to know, Rhiannon managed, fighting waves of dizziness. Her body felt strange, altered. Looking down at her hands, she saw her skin had taken on a subtle, metallic sheen, not quite like Vexera's mercury surface, but definitely no longer purely human. What's happening to me? Your body is adjusting to the awakened god seeds, Vexera explained, helping her to a nearby chair that seemed to grow from the floor to receive them. The changes will stabilize soon, but we need somewhere safe for you to complete the transformation. Somewhere the hunters can't follow. The ship's viewscreen showed the Council vessels regrouping, clearly reassessing their tactics after their weapons proved ineffective. Rhiannon knew they wouldn't give up easily. I know a place, Vexera said suddenly, her fingers dancing across the control interface. The ruins of Lysandra. The radiation storms interfere with Council tracking systems, and the old defenses still respond to those who carry the ancient codes. Which you just happen to have? Rhiannon asked, raising an eyebrow. A ripple of something like embarrassment passed across Vexera's mercury skin. Let's just say I wasn't always a loyal servant of the Council. My curiosity about the past has led me to acquire certain restricted knowledge. The ship changed course, diving deeper into the outer reaches of an unfamiliar star system. Through their lingering mental connection, Rhiannon caught glimpses of Vexera's memories, centuries of secret research, hidden expeditions to forbidden ruins, and a growing suspicion about the Council's true nature. You've been planning something like this for a long time, Rhiannon realized. Finding someone with active god seeds, it wasn't just chance, was it? Not entirely, Vexera admitted. I've been monitoring developing species, looking for signs of the ancient markers reappearing. But I never expected. She trailed off, her luminous gaze fixed on Rhiannon with an intensity that made the human's altered skin tingle. I never expected to find them in someone like you. Someone like me. Someone who makes me question everything I thought I knew about humanity's role in the galaxy. Vexera's voice softened. Someone who awakens things in me that I thought the Council had engineered out of our species millennia ago. Before Rhiannon could respond, the ship emerged from faster-than-light travel into a graveyard of ancient structures. Massive rings of dark metal orbited a dying star, each connected by threads of energy that pulsed with otherworldly light. At the center floated a construct that defied human comprehension, a city-sized sphere of impossible geometry, its surface writhing with patterns that hurt the eyes to look at directly. Welcome to Lysandra, Vexera said, her voice filled with reverence. The last great city of those who originally wielded the god seeds. Here, we might find answers about why your species was allowed to develop them naturally, and why the Council is so desperate to prevent it. As their ship approached the alien metropolis, Rhiannon felt the god seeds responding to something ancient and powerful. Through their shared connection, she sensed Vexera's mix of excitement and apprehension. The ruins are awakening, the alien Enchantress whispered. They sense the old power in your blood. Lysandra remembers its children, even after 50,000 years. And the hunters? Rhiannon asked, watching the Council ships hesitate at the edge of the system. They'll find a way to follow us eventually. The Council's reach is vast, and their fear of the god seeds returning is even greater. Vexera turned to her, Mercury's skin rippling with determination. But by then, you'll be ready. We'll both be ready. The way she said, "we," sent a shiver through Rhiannon's transformed body. The mental link between them pulsed with unspoken possibilities, desires that transcended species and duty. As their ship docked with the ancient city, Rhiannon realized she no longer knew where her own feelings ended and Vexera's began. Perhaps that was exactly what they both needed to survive what was coming. The corridors of Lysandra twisted in ways that defied Euclidean geometry, their surfaces alive with flowing patterns that responded to Rhiannon's presence. Her transformed body resonated with the ancient city, each step sending ripples of recognition through the living metal beneath her feet. "The city remembers," Vexera explained, her Mercury form gliding beside Rhiannon. "It recognizes the god seeds in your blood. Watch." As if responding to her words, a section of wall liquefied, forming into a sweeping archway that led to a vast chamber. Inside, holographic displays sprang to life, filling the air with cascading symbols that Rhiannon somehow understood, despite their alien nature. "It's a historical database," she breathed, the god seeds translating the information directly into her consciousness. "The true history of your people, of all people." "What we became," Vexera corrected, her luminous eyes scanning the displays. "And what the Council forced us to forget." The holograms coalesced into scenes from the past, diverse species wielding the god seeds, reshaping themselves and their environments at will. They built impossible wonders, explored the deepest reaches of space, and evolved beyond physical form itself. But then came the fear. "The Council," Rhiannon said, watching the images shift. "They weren't always what they are now, were they?" "No." Vexera's voice held ancient sorrow. "They were once like us, explorers, seekers of knowledge. But they saw the power of unlimited evolution as a threat to stability. They believed that if every being could reshape reality at will, chaos would consume the galaxy." The scenes changed, showing a great war. Species that had once worked together now turned against each other. The god seeds were used as weapons, creating monstrous forms and devastating entire solar systems. The Council's solution was to strip the god seeds from all sentient life, Vexera continued. They engineered a virus that would rewrite the genetic code of every known species, removing the ability to self-direct evolution. Only a few of their chosen elite retained a fraction of the original power. But they missed Earth, Rhiannon realized. Somehow, humanity escaped their notice. "Not missed," a new voice echoed through the chamber. "Protected." They spun to face a figure emerging from the flowing walls, a holographic projection, but one so advanced it appeared solid. It wore the form of a being that combined features from countless species, its appearance shifting subtly with each movement. "I am an echo of Lysandra's last keeper," the figure said. "Left here to wait for the return of the god seeds. And now, at last, they have returned, in a form we never expected." Through their mental link, Rhiannon felt Vexera's shock and recognition. "You're one of the transcended," the alien Enchantress whispered. "Those who evolved beyond physical form." "We saw many possible futures," the Keeper's echo confirmed. "In most, the Council's fear led to stagnation and eventual collapse. But in one timeline, a young species on a distant world developed the god seeds naturally, without the baggage of our ancient conflicts. That species was humanity." Rhiannon stepped forward, her transformed skin shimmering in the holographic light. "You hid Earth from the Council. Protected us while we evolved. We gave your species a chance to develop differently than we did. To learn control and wisdom alongside power." The Keeper's shifting form focused on Rhiannon. "And now you, Rhiannon Vale, represent the first flowering of that long experiment." Before she could respond, alarm signals pulsed through the city's living walls. Through their connection, Vexera's mind flooded with recognition and fear. The hunters, she hissed. They found a way through the radiation storms. The keeper's echo nodded gravely. The council always feared this day would come. They will destroy this entire system to prevent the god seeds from spreading again. Then help us fight them, Rhiannon urged. You must have defenses, weapons. Violence is what led to our downfall before, the keeper interrupted. The god seeds are not weapons, though they can be used as such. They are tools of creation, of understanding, of breaking down the barriers between species and minds. As if to emphasize the point, Rhiannon felt her connection with Vexera pull stronger. Their thoughts and emotions flowed together more freely, creating something new and beautiful and terrifying in its intensity. The council fears this most of all, Vexera realized, her mercury fingers intertwining with Rhiannon's transformed ones. Not the power itself, but the change it brings. The breaking down of barriers they spent millennia building. The keeper's echo smiled, its form shifting to mirror aspects of both Rhiannon and Vexera. Now you understand. The question is, what will you do with that understanding? Through their joined minds, Rhiannon and Vexera shared a moment of perfect clarity. They saw the council's hunters approaching, their ships bristling with planet-killing weapons. They saw the fear that drove them, the desperate need to maintain control. And they saw a possible future, one where the god seeds could return not as weapons of war, but as bridges between species and minds. We show them what they've forgotten, Rhiannon said firmly. We remind them what they lost when they chose fear over understanding. And if they won't listen? Vexera asked, though her mind had already aligned with Rhiannon's purpose. Then we show them that evolution cannot be controlled through fear. Rhiannon turned to the keeper's echo. Teach us. Show us everything you left here in Lysandra's memory. We don't have much time. As the ancient city's knowledge began to flow into them, Rhiannon and Vexera's merged consciousness expanded further. The barriers between human and alien dissolved completely, creating something entirely new, exactly what the council had always feared, and exactly what the galaxy needed. The hunters were coming, but they would find something very different from what they expected. The council's warships emerged from hyperspace like a gathering storm, their black hulls absorbing the light of Lysandra's dying sun. Through the ancient city's sensors, Rhiannon and Vexera watched 12 planet-killer vessels move into attack formation. But they were no longer watching as separate beings, their consciousness had merged completely, creating something unprecedented in the galaxy's history. They stood in Lysandra's central chamber, their transformed bodies resonating with the city's living metal. Rhiannon's human form had evolved further, her skin now a shifting pattern of opalescent light that complemented Vexera's mercury surface. Where their hands joined, the boundaries between them blurred completely. Attention, rebel elements, a voice boomed through the city's communication systems. This is High Inquisitor Zorax of the Celestial Council. Surrender the human specimen and the traitor Vexera immediately. This is your only warning. Their merged consciousness reached out through Lysandra's systems, responding with a thought. The city's holographic displays came alive, projecting their combined form into every council vessel simultaneously. We remember what you made us forget, they spoke as one, their voice harmonized into something both beautiful and alien. We remember what we could have become. Through their shared awareness, they sensed the fear rippling through the council ships, fear of change, fear of losing control, fear of the unknown. But they also sensed something else, recognition. The god seeds in Rhiannon's blood were calling to the fragments that remained in the council members' own genetic code, awakening ancient memories. This is your final chance, Zorax warned, but his voice wavered. Submit to quarantine and genetic cleansing, or we will be forced to sterilize this entire sector. Their merged form smiled. You still think in terms of violence and control. Let us show you another way. Before the council could respond, they activated the knowledge the keeper's echo had given them. Lysandra's ancient systems hummed to life, sending out waves of energy that carried the pure genetic code of the god seeds. Not as a weapon or virus, but as an offering, a key to unlock what had been buried in all spacefaring species. Through their connection to the city, they watched the energy waves wash over the council ships. They felt the moment the first crew members began to remember, their suppressed genetic memories awakening. The God Seeds weren't just tools for physical evolution, they were the key to a deeper understanding, a way to bridge the gaps between all conscious beings. Stop this. Zorax commanded, but the fear in his voice was giving way to something else, wonder. You don't understand what you're unleashing. We understand perfectly, they responded, their merged consciousness extending an invitation. Join us. Remember who we all were meant to be. The first council ship broke formation, its crew already transforming as ancient knowledge flooded back. Then another, and another. Some tried to flee, but the awakening had begun. The God Seeds were never meant to be contained, they were meant to evolve, to connect, to transform. Through it all, Rhiannon and Vexera's merged consciousness held steady, guiding the transformation. Their love for each other, transcending species and form, became a template for what was possible. They showed the council members how to embrace change without losing themselves, how to evolve without forgetting their origins. High Inquisitor Zorax's flagship was the last to succumb. As the final barriers fell, his transformed consciousness joined the growing network of awakened minds. We were wrong, his thoughts echoed through their shared awareness. We thought we were protecting the galaxy, but we were only holding it back. The merged form of Rhiannon and Vexera stood in Lyssandra's heart, watching as the ancient city pulsed with new life. Around them, the awakened council members were already beginning to restore what had been lost, not to return to the past, but to create something new. The experiment succeeded, the Keeper's echo appeared one final time, its shifting form now stable and clear. Humanity's isolated evolution created exactly what was needed, a way to reintroduce the God Seeds without repeating our ancient mistakes. Your love, it gestured to their merged form, proved that evolution doesn't have to mean losing our connections to each other. Quite the opposite. Through their joined minds, Rhiannon and Vexera shared a moment of perfect understanding. They could remain merged forever, transcending their original forms completely. But that wasn't what the galaxy needed. Slowly, deliberately, they began to separate, not completely, but enough to show others that individuality and unity could coexist. Their transformed bodies remained connected by threads of light, a visible symbol of what was possible. What happens now? Asked one of the awakened council members, their form shifting between solid and energy. Rhiannon smiled, her opalescent skin shimmering. Now we learn together. We evolve together. We bridge the gaps between all thinking beings, Vexera continued, her Mercury surface reflecting the light of transformation spreading through the sector. Their partially merged consciousness reached out to the gathering of transformed beings around them. Through Lyssandra's systems, they could already sense other species across the galaxy beginning to awaken, the God Seeds stirring in long-dormant genetic codes. The age of separation was ending. The age of union was beginning. And in the heart of an ancient city orbiting a dying sun, a human scientist and an alien enchantress held onto each other, their transformed bodies glowing with the light of creation itself. They had found something greater than either of their species had dreamed possible, not just love, not just evolution, but a way to heal the broken bonds between all conscious beings. The future they had glimpsed was already taking shape around them, and it was more beautiful than anyone could have imagined.